This is the story of Tsubasa Kurata, a software engineer and a hardcore mecha otaku. One day, while on his way back home from work, he gets involved in a fatal accident and dies instantly. However, as fate would have it, this isn't the end for this genius programmer as he reawakens to find himself in another world, a world of swords, magic, and robots. In the body of a young child and now named Ernesty, or Eru for short, Kurata is now in the Fromavilla Kingdom, where giant mecha robots, known as Silhouette Knights, fight against demon beasts. Seeing his father defeat such a monster for the first time after waking up, Eru becomes bewitched by these robots and vows to follow in his father's footsteps. What does this young, enthusiastic child have in store in this new world filled with his beloved robots? Stay tuned to find out. Before we begin, follow if you want to zap into the latest anime trends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss any update from us. The story begins in a programming company where the employees are faced with a big problem. They have a sudden last-minute change in the product, forcing the employees to stay overnight. However, one of the employees is a man named Tsubasa Kurata, a genius programmer who is able to quickly and efficiently deal with the situation. Moreover, it is revealed that Kurata is a major mecha model fan. On his way back from the office, he buys some models to build at home, but all of a sudden, he gets hit by a car on his way back and dies, right then and there. On the other hand, in the kingdom of Fromavilla in another world, a couple is traveling with their young child when they suddenly get attacked by a demon beast. Amidst the attack, a robot, known as a Silhouette Knight in this world, arrives to save them. During this incident is when Kurata gets reincarnated as the child of this couple named Anestia Cavalier. Seeing his beloved and fantasized robots for the first time in action, Ernesti is ecstatic. Witnessing his father defeat this demonic monster, he gets encouraged to also become a knight runner, claiming that this must be the reason why he was given another chance in life. And so, he dwells right into magic training, which he is quite competent at as it is somewhat similar to coding. One day, as he is training early in the morning, Ernesti happens to encounter Addie and Kid, two children who are walking around on the rooftops. Not long after, they all become friends and Ernesti agrees to teach them magic at their insistence. In addition to all this, these three later join the Lihyla Academy, created to train future knights and directed by his grandfather. There, he soon learns that he is currently able to command a knight because of his age. But this doesn't break his spirit. One day, he befriends a son of a blacksmith named Bento. With his help, he is able to come up with a new design for a wand. Naming this wand the Gunblade Rod, he is able to impress the instructors with his intellect and magic prowess, so much so that he is allowed to skip middle school. Eventually, Ernesti is 12 years old and in high school. One day, he takes part in the training trip, where he meets with Stephanie, the older half-sister of Addie and Kid. However, in the middle of the night, the participants get attacked by a swarm of demon beasts. While the lower-level students are ordered to evacuate, the seniors are ordered to stay back to dispel the enemy, but they are seen to be having some trouble. Moreover, Stephanie is also fighting against these monsters, but is in a pinch. All of a sudden, Ernesti, Kid, and Addie show up to help, along with high school seniors, and manage to defeat the foe. Somewhere else, a lone Silhouette Knight is confronted by a giant turtle-like beast. This giant monster is revealed to be a behemoth, a division-class monster, currently attacking the Cloquet Forest. As such, the guards are engaged in a life-or-death battle against this monstrous beast, but they are unable to hold on for long as the monster overpowers them all. On the other hand, one of the guards manages to reach the capital and inform the knights about this development, requesting their help in this dire situation. Meanwhile, Ernesti gets a bad feeling when they suddenly see Behemoth appear in front of them. Consequently, while Ernesti, Addie, and Kid help the other students evacuate, the senior Silhouette Knight students prepare to fight and destroy this beast. However, these students aren't prepared for a foe like this, and one knight simply gets engulfed in the turtle's fire breath. Seeing this, a knight named Dietrich flees from the battlefield. However, Ernst notices him running earnestly. As such, he pursues him and manages to infiltrate his knight, heading into battle after adjusting the controls. Using his programming skills, he manages to prove his worth as a knight by saving his peers and managing to inflict some damage on the fearsome monster. Despite this, even he is unable to subdue the beast alone, and neither are the kingdom's knights able to do so. Seeing this, Ernesty is left with no other choice but to attack the beast on his own. As such, she jumps onto the monster's head and casts a lightning spell that penetrates the monster's brain through his damaged eye, causing the beast to finally fall to the ground. After the battle, the remaining knights were shocked to see that instead of Dietrich, the young Ernesty was controlling the knights. This news spread far and wide, even reaching the ears of the emperor, who takes an interest in this child's power. The king summoned Ero and offered him anything he wanted in exchange for slaying the behemoth. To the surprise of the audience, which includes Ernesty's grandfather, Ernesty requests the classified plans of an ether reactor, which is considered the heart and core of the Silhouette Knight. When Ero declared his desire to build his own dream Silhouette Knight and ride it as a hobby, the king was amused and agreed to Ero's request on the condition that he first builds an upgraded version of the Silhouette Knight. One of the king's advisors, Marquis Salati, who is the father of Stefania, Addie, and Kid, encourages his children to keep him updated on the situation. He tells them to contact him if Ero is successful in his new venture. On the other hand, Ero discusses his new concepts with Batson and the senior knight engineer that he wishes to add to the new Silhouette Knight to boost its performance. David is his name. Consequently, they decide to use Helvi's knight named Trandorkis, a senior student, as a test subject. They are able to increase their power output by 30%. Meanwhile, Ero and Batson created Silhouette Gears, which were human-sized mech suits, to teach Addie and Kid how to pilot Silhouette Knights. Not long after, the Trandorkis, now dubbed Telestale, performed well in its first test run after the upgrades. Later, in a simulation match, Helvi's Telestale almost defeats Earlcumber, another senior student, Telestale. But the fight ends when Telestale's mana runs out. Later that night, the engineers celebrated the accomplishment of the Telestale. Meanwhile, Ero was brainstorming new Silhouette Knight concepts, unaware that a suspicious group was closely spying on his work. Ero and the engineers are attempting to solve the issue of the Telestale's high mana consumption, while Ero also creates weapons for the Silhouette Gears, such as an automatic crossbow. Addie and Kid inform their father about Telestale's performance, who then reports to Marquis Dixgard. The Marquis orders 3 Telestale Silhouette Knights to be brought to Fort Cassidesis for inspection and testing. During the journey, the Scarlet Rabbit convoy is attacked by a Shaker 1 demon beast, but Edgar, Helvi, and Dietrich are able to defeat it, impressing Knight Commander Fredholm. However, the ambush was set up by the Order of the Bronze Fawn, who have been spying on Ero's work. At Fort Cassidesis, Marquis Dixgard meets Ero and expresses his dislike for Ero's breaking of the status quo on knight design. However, Ero is not interested in fame or riches, but rather in creating newer and better Silhouette Knights. Meanwhile, the Order of the Bronze Fawn causes a demon beast attack to lure out the Scarlet Rabbit Order for an assault on Fort Cassidesis. On the other hand, Ero's companions make their journey towards Fort Cassidesis to rescue him. Edgar and Dietrich join Batson, David, Kid, and Addie on their journey to Fort Cassidesis aboard their Silhouette Knights. However, Lady Kerhild and the Bronze Fawn Knights sneak into the fort and steal the Silhouette Knights, including the 3 Telestales. Despite Commander Fredholm and the Scarlet Rabbit Knights' efforts to stop them, Lady Kerhild and her subordinates manage to escape with 2 of the Telestales. Edgar and Dietrich try to stop them with the help of Kid and Addie, but the Bronze Fawn Knights encounter them on the way. Ero learns about the stolen Telestales and dons a Silhouette gear to help Commander Fredholm defeat the intruders. Meanwhile, Dietrich, Kid, and Addie defeat Lady Kerhild's subordinates, but she manages to escape to Vindobadala after defeating Edgar. Dietrich and the others are surrounded by demon beasts, but Ero and Commander Fredholm arrive to help them. Marquis Dixgard discovers that the intruders used cursed bait to attract demonic beasts and concludes that it was the work of another nation. King Ambrosius expresses his gratitude to Ero and his companions for their diligent efforts and establishes a new group of knights known as the Order of the Silver Phoenix. Ero is appointed as the leader of this order, which is tasked with conducting research and developing superior Silhouette Knights. Edgar promises Helvi that he will retrieve the stolen Telestale, which was actually stolen. The Silhouette Night Laboratory, renowned as the foremost research facility in the Fromavilla Kingdom, has received a telestale with the intention of reverse engineering it to produce their own mass-produced Silhouette Knights, with the aim of impressing King Ambrosius. Meanwhile, Arrow and the Order of the Silver Phoenix are engaged in the development of newer and improved Silhouette Knights, with the assistance of Marquis Dixgard, who provides 2 Silhouette Knight companies of Kaldatoas as base models. Nora Frittberg and the Order of the Azure Hawk apprehend spies who are aiding the Bronze Fawn Knights, thereby preventing any further breaches of information from the Academy. Arrow devises Silhouette gears to alleviate the workload of the Knightsmiths and designs new Silhouette Knights with enhancements. However, David censures Arrow for being excessively engrossed in his work, particularly after his experiment involving rockets on a Silhouette Knight nearly results in his demise. Following the creation of a 2-seater cockpit for Addie and Kid, a Silhouette Knight resembling a centaur, and magical daggers employed as keys to initiate a Silhouette Knight and prevent another hijacking attempt, Arrow and the Order of the Silver Phoenix journey to the capital to confront the Silhouette Knight Laboratory's Kaldatoa Darsh models in the presence of King Ambrosius and his ministers. The confrontation between the Order of Silver Phoenix and the laboratory team culminates in a stalemate, as the increased power of the new units results in a draw against less advanced, yet more experienced pilots. Upon graduating from Lihyala, Arrow and his companions join the remainder of the Order at Fort Orobeges to dedicate themselves to the development of Silhouette Knights, while King Ambrosius decides to retire and pass the realm to his son, Leotimus. He subsequently contacts Arrow and requests that he create new, distinctive Silhouette Knights for himself and his grandson, Prince Emrys. Arrow then produces 2 units with identical capabilities, one in silver, Gilberiga, and the other in gold, Gold Leo. When both select Gold Leo, Ambrosius and Emrys opt to settle the matter through a contest, with Emrys emerging victorious and Ambrosius accepting Gilberiga. Follow for more if you want to zap into the latest anime trends.